Hey everybody, and welcome to Cooking Fish with Katie, Season 3. On today's episode, we are going to be doing whole roasted onions. Now, I only have 2 onions, and since it's just me, that's all I'm going to do. Now, the recipe does call for at least 9 in a 9x9 pan, so I'm going to be doing things a little bit differently, but I'm going to tell you how the recipe says to do them. And like I said, it's just me tonight, so I'm not going to worry about cooking for David. And also, it is 7:30 and coming close to 8 o'clock, which is when I'm not allowed to eat anymore. So I am going to go ahead and get started, get this done, and we are going to have delicious roasted onions for dinner. Cooking Adventures with Katie, Season 3. Alright, so the recipe says to have your oven at 375, and you want to put your onions on the top rack. However, because we use a gas stove and we roast things on the bottom drawer, we're going to put the broiler on low, and we're going to do this following the recipe wise. Now we want to cut the tops off of the onion, leaving most of the skin on. So we're going to take our little knife and create a little flat edge, leaving most of the skin on. Alright, so we'll do this one. Alright, and then for those of you that notice, yes, my fingers are dirty. I've been playing out in the dirt today. Now, what I'm going to do as well is I'm going to cut off this just a little bit so my onions have something flat to sit on in the pan. Now, if you're using if you're going by the regular recipe, you will want an 8x8 or 9x9, and you will be cooking anywhere from 6 to 9 full onions. Now, since it's just me, I'm just going to use a little bread pan, and we're just going to do 2. So we're going to do this. All right. Now we want to drizzle olive oil over both of these. Alright, and since my fingers are gross, I'm not going to put my finger in this to spread them out. Alright, so I'll just do that and this. Okay, and then we want to put a thin pat of butter on both. Alright, so let's cut some squares into our butter, and then alright, it's not thin, but it'll work because it's butter. So a thin pat of butter. If you use actual sticks, it'll be much easier to have, even slices. So next we want to take salt and pepper, and then rosemary. Now, I don't have rosemary on the twig, but let's see what I can find. Alright, so we got salt, some pepper, and I remembered we had a rosemary plant, so we're going to take some rosemary. Alright. And then we are going to place this into the oven, or underneath the broiler, for 25 minutes. Alright. So here is what comes out after 20 minutes. Alright, now I know I said 25, but I'm only doing 2, so do 20. Alright, so now you want to set your broil up to high, and you want to leave it in for another 15 to 20 minutes until the onion is tender. Actually, I'm just feeling pretty tender. Ow. Yeah, until the onion is tender all the way through, and yeah, and then we'll be ready to eat. So I'm going to throw this in for another, we'll say 15 minutes. on high. Alright, so here's what it comes out as after another, so here's what we did. If you have a conventional oven, it's 375 for 20 to 25 minutes. And then you flip it up to 400 for another 15 to 20 minutes. So I went from low for 20 minutes to high for 15, and this is how it came out. Now it looks burnt, but that's okay, because we're going to be pulling out the, taking off this first layer, which is why we want to leave the skin on. So let me get a plate or a bowl or something or whatever and get this going. All right, so you want to pull off this this top layer of onion. So it will be the most burnt. It'll probably be kind of thin to unleash the under layer. All right, so it was sitting straight, but now it's not. So let's take off this little bit of rosemary, and let's get a steak knife and cut this open. Let's see how this tastes. Actually, if it'll sit this way better. All right, so it's pretty tender, and it's definitely steamy. Ah! Well, that didn't work. Let's go for this inner piece here. Okay. Alright, so let's try this. As a whole, the middle part is still a little bit crunchy. I feel like it should be softer. So let's get some of these outer layers. That's the word I'm looking for. Still crunchy, but it's definitely good. The butter has gone through and has hit all the layers, so you do have a hint of butter. As for the oil, I don't know what that did. It probably just kept it from catching on fire. Otherwise, I'd say just salt it a little bit more in the middle, and it's good. If you want to season it some, I'd say probably throw some Creole on it. Can't go wrong with that. Otherwise, this would be good to have with in like a grilling party. Yeah. Don't know what to have with your burger? Have some onion. It works, and onion's good for you. So I'm gonna enjoy my onions, because I've got 2 of them, and it's really like the onion isn't pungent. Like, you can taste it. It tastes like onion, but it's also, it's very, very, it's sweet. It's not pungent like onions normally are. And I feel like with a white onion or with a yellow onion, or even a Vidalia onion, because those are sweet. You got sweet yellows. You got the sweet Vidalias. It would be good. But if you did it with like a red onion, which is more pungent, more of a strong flavor, I don't know if it would necessarily be that good. So the type of onion that you use does make a difference. All in all, it's plain, but I like it. It would definitely go fantastic on a burger, or with a steak for that matter. Like one onion just cooked by itself like this, split in half, would be fantastic. You have one for you and one for whoever you're eating with. Yeah, I'm gonna throw some extra seasonings on this and munch away. But yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this little episode. Thank you for voting for the whole roasted onion. for those of y'all that did. I greatly appreciate it. So for next week's episode, we're going to use the original 3 losers of the vegetables, and then we're going to add another one. So next week we have a choice of cabbage or sweet potato or spaghetti squash, and then, hush! And then our 4th choice, is bell peppers. So you have a choice of cabbage, sweet potato, spaghetti squash, or bell peppers. Those are our 4 choices for next week. We also have the challenge of the hush! Hush! We also have the challenge of pho. The pho challenge. Authentically cooked pho will be next week's challenge. If you desire to see it. So, which would you like to see? So, with all that being said, please like, subscribe, comment, and happy cooking.